a big downward trend for our Seattle Mariners, and they need to bounce back. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series analysis episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. That one, I've got to say, was rough. And not just the games being rough, but Andres Munoz pulled out of the game. Clearly, he's hurt. Randy Arozarena, day to day. Josh Naylor has been fighting some injury for the past week or so. It's been really rough for the Seattle Mariners. And even though Cal Raleigh's coming back, it just seems like one injury starts another injury and then just keeps on piling up. So aside from the injuries, Alex, what did you feel about the overall performance during the National Series?
Hard to interpret, to be honest, because none of the games were close. First game, we blew them out dominantly. Bryce Miller, amazing start. We'll get into that more on that later. Second and third game, we got dominated. So none of the games are very interesting to watch from an outside perspective, to be honest. But yeah, there were a lot of problems. I think we should focus on or start on the pitching side. There was some good and some bad. Bryce Miller, very good. He went 8 innings, 2 earned runs, and those 2 runs were only because the 2 home runs he gave up. That's an amazing start right there. 8 innings is crazy. And that should have set us up well for the series because, we had the massive advantage in the pitching side, bullpen wise, because we kicked out their starter like immediately. It was basically nothing, right? And they had no chance. And in the second game, we laid an egg. Castillo, bad start, but no one's surprised there. And yeah, that kind of sums up how that went. And then in the last game, Hancock had his probably his worst start of the year, but that's like his first like really bad start in a while. So, but unfortunately, those two starts were so bad that they basically had us have no chance to win those games. We were not gonna, especially that last game, we lost 10-1. We were not gonna win that game. Like no matter what happened, it was not gonna happen.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Emerson Hancock's bad start here is that he had no walks, zero walks, literally, and it's kind of resemblant of the style that George Kirby has, where he fills the zone and he tries to get strikeouts over and over without walking anybody. Like walks are the biggest enemy for the pitcher, basically, and it seemed like Hancock this time, instead of having the swing and miss stuff and the strikeouts, only 2 strikeouts and couldn't get a sweeper to get swing and miss from the opposing bats. So that was, even though the Nationals are a good offensive squad, that was more of a Emerson Hancock not being able to sync his body up for the sweeper thing than it was a Nationals just blowing us out of the ballpark type of thing.
Mhm, definitely. We should also mention how the bullpen went. So it was pretty bad in that one. Ferrer had that Ferrer gave up some stuff in the second game, I believe. So that obviously wasn't great. So that really ruined our chances in that game. Yeah, and it just really goes to show how depleted we are. We're having guys like Michael Rucker, who I've never even heard of until he started pitching. I don't even like we have like really random guys out there. Nick Davila, he's actually done okay since he's been up, but that's really shows how depleted we are in that front. And we're even more depleted now on the offensive side. Randy mentioned earlier, he's day to day, he's been dealing with something. I want to touch on Naylor for a second here. He went out in that last game because he fouled the ball off his shin. Like, what an unfortunate like event to happen, right? So and then he's probably day to day as well because of that. And it looked like, and he seems to be in pain from that weird play that happened against the Tigers, I believe, with his wrist. So that's even another thing he has to deal with. The shin. Hopefully that ends up that wasn't a big deal. The thing is with Naylor, even after that Tigers thing, the reason why I'm not as concerned is that he was playing well. Like he's still been playing well, so at least that's a good thing. But him out of the lineup is pretty bad. Good news is, right, for the next series, is that we we're calling up Cal, or not calling up, we're bringing back Cal, who that's clutch. And we're gonna talk about the catcher ramifications in a second here, but we're getting Cal back and we're getting Crawford back, so that's cool. Two guys are coming back. Even if two guys are leaving, two guys are coming back, that's good. And then the other thing is uh with um with Cal coming back, right? It leaves the big question is what we're gonna do as catcher. So Julian, do you have any
Mhm.
thoughts on how the Mariners should operate in that regard? Because Johnny Pareda is a guy we thought, oh, we don't think anything of him, but he's been playing a lot better than we thought.
Yeah, and first of all, I want to mention Cal Raleigh in AAA Tacoma blasting 4 home runs in the span of 2 games. That was pretty awesome to watch. That was the Cal Raleigh that we were looking for early on in the season before he got injured. We were watching Cal Raleigh. Oh man, this is not the same Cal Raleigh that we had last year. WBC totally killed him. What's going on? Well, that Cal Raleigh that I see at Tacoma, even though it's AAA, is resemblant of the Cal Raleigh that I'm looking for as like part of the Seattle Mariners like captain squad. And so that's great. And to your point, Johnny Pareda has actually been playing really amazing against left-handed pitchers. He's actually been OPSing above 1,000. That means that every at bat against a left-handed pitcher, he is getting one or more bases basically per each of these at bats. That's a pretty huge deal when it comes to batters because look at someone like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, if whenever he puts up 1,000 OPS, 1,100 OPS, that's considered great. And Johnny Pareda against left-handed pitchers is doing that. And so that's kind of what we brought in Rob Refsnyder for. Maybe Johnny Pareda becomes the new platoon DH with Dom Canzone. Maybe that's an option. Another option is that Pareda goes back down to AAA Tacoma. Obviously, he is a catcher, not a full-time DH, and a minor league catcher at that. And so maybe the best option for him is to train the catcher position for when Garver is gone next year. That might be another option, another avenue for him. But I think at this point, we've seen so much good out of Johnny Pareda. It's a bad problem or it's a good problem to have because you're bringing up Cal who was supposed to be your savior, but he doesn't have to save your squad because Johnny Pareda is playing the way that he is and Garver's defenses has been really solid as a backup catcher. And so I think those are the two options for Johnny Pareda, DH or move back down to AAA to play catcher. But either way, Johnny Pareda has shown us some really awesome baseball playing so far.
Yeah, it definitely elevated us and saved us in a situation where we thought we were screwed when we were losing Cal, but it ended up being okay in that regard. Let's give some props to some players who played well in this series. Cole Young and Cole Emerson are two young guys. They played amazing this series. Emerson is a slugger. Like, let me tell you, this guy is hitting home runs like it's nothing. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy there. And Cole Young got some damage in all the games. He got multiple hits this series, so good for him as well. Those are a few players I want to highlight. Oh, also Canzone, he's a guy, he's a sneaky guy that playing really, really well for himself. He played in every game this series, got a hit, got multiple hits in this series. So I gotta give him my props there. It's something where, he's having such a like he is such a good platoon player that it sucks we don't have anyone on that other side. But, maybe Pareda, like you said, Ref Snyder's playing a little better. That would really complement that position well.
Yeah, and like to your point, Ref Snyder is definitely warming up. He's not warming up to the level that we need him to. Even the last 7 games, when I say that he's warming up, he's still the batting average is the same as the on base percentage, which means he's not walking. He's also not slugging at all. He's just he's not been the player that we need him to be, and that's fine. The strategy was there, and maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's not, and maybe I'll eat my words at the end of the season. If I do, I'll be perfectly happy. Let me just say that. Like, I'll be perfectly happy eating my words if Rob Refsnyder ends up OPSing 900 at the end of the season and we end up going to the playoffs. That'd be great. But for now, Rob Refsnyder is playing the way that he is, not the best. And with Victor Robles being a starter right now with Randy Arozarena gone, maybe it's time to move away from Rob Refsnyder. Who knows? But that is a Dan Wilson question. Definitely, that is something that he's probably pondering on right now, and hopefully he makes the right decision here. Hopefully he knows his players enough to make the right decision. But moving on, before we move on, actually, we still have the giveaway shirts, and if you want one, um, DM us on Instagram, and you will get your very own Seattle Baseline Podcast T-shirt. That this is, I wear this from day to day. It's been awesome. It feels great to wear,
Yeah, it
and
does.
yeah, let us know if you want one. They're still here, so it's great. Moving on, we are going to face the Orioles again. So, Alex, what do you think of the Orioles squad? Like we faced them last time. What's your overall takeaway?
Yeah, not much has changed in that regard. Their offense is pretty good. They got a lot of players who are playing better than they did in the before, like Jackson Holiday or not Jackson Holiday. I don't know what I'm saying. Adley Rushman, he's a guy who, we thought he was gonna pop off. Um, like, after that really good year he had a few years ago, then he like fell off and didn't have a good few years, and then this year he's playing amazing. So. Yeah, and then they got Pete Alonso, right? He's a guy who's been playing really well, especially as of lately. It feels like I'm saying the same stuff because this is what I said last time, but truly nothing has really changed with the Orioles. Their offense is very good, and we're going to be against better pitching this time as well.
Yeah, and we're gonna be facing Brandon Young. This is the guy that I think that we should be watching out for. We're gonna be facing Kyle Bradish and Shane Baz as well. Shane Baz, another big name, but he's not really pitching as well this year. But look at the last 7 games of these three starters, and you'll notice that each of these three starters have an ERA below 4. When it comes to Young, he actually has an ERA below 3 at 2.59 for last 7 games and 3.04 for the whole season. He's actually been elite. And Brandon Young is one of those guys that we have to watch out for. The biggest thing that Brandon Young likes to do is he uses a lot of four seamers and splitters. He's really similar to Logan Gilbert, but if Logan Gilbert didn't strike people out. And so, for example, Gilbert thrives on striking people out with his pitches, like tunneling pitches. Brandon Young does the similar thing of tunneling pitches, four seamer, splitter, slider, sinker, curveball, but he actually gets a lot of weak contact and not many strikeouts. That's the big thing with Young, and because he gets a lot of weak contact, he's looking to extend his outing to 7 innings. If he can do that, his mission is accomplished, and he's basically walking out 7 innings with 1 or 2 runs. That's what Brandon Young is trying to do here. What we want to do as the Mariners, we want to sabotage that, and we want to, because he gets a lot of chase, and what happens is we chase down, and then he gets the weak grounder to short, and then that's the out. And so we want to make sure that we can catch that ball the way that Cole Emerson and Cole Young have actually been doing, which is you catch the ball low outside of the zone and you just drive it, line drive to outfield. That's what we want to do against this guy. And if we can start to walk a lot, get him into bad counts where he has to put it in the zone, make him a little bit more predictable. See what they did with Emerson Hancock. Emerson Hancock was a lot more predictable when because they knew he didn't want to walk anybody. They knew that all he wanted to do was strike people out in the strike zone. That's why he was so predictable. And Brandon Young, same deal. If you can get him in the strike zone, you will get him 100%. That is how with all the pitchers, that's how you want to attack them. But for specifically somebody like Brandon Young who wants to get that weak contact, you want to get as many chances at strong contact as possible, and he's going to give you every chance to do that. So let's capitalize.
Yeah, he's not really much of a strikeout guy, like you mentioned. But remember, the last start he had was against these Mariners, and he went 7 innings, no earned runs. We had 2 hits against him. So we need to pull up a better performance against this guy, or else we're just not going to win any game. Like, it's very difficult to win a game where you get 0 runs and 2 hits on their starter. So we need to pull up a better performance there. At least in the second game, we are against
Kyle Bradish.
Bradish, who we did dominate in the next game. We still lost that game because that was the last game of the series. We still lost that game, but at least the offense played a lot better. So our pitching needs to equalize against theirs because we cannot have these starts like the last 2 starts against the National Series where we basically lost a chance to win those games because the starts went so bad. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there with the pitching. You know, we have Gilbert coming up. He's been playing well recently, so hopefully that goes there well there. Kirby, he needs to get a little better, so this would be a good time to do it. And then the starter isn't announced in the third game, but presumably it'll probably be Wu. Definitely need a bounce back game after the last game he had. So definitely looking forward to the pitch to see how they perform. Offense, it really just depends, right? On like, I don't know about how the status is on, some of our guys who's injured, but the Cal coming back, that is, at least it's gonna be fun to see him back in the play. Feels like it's kind of been a weird year because Cal isn't the same as he was last year. And we knew he wasn't gonna be the same, but he really hasn't been the same. He hasn't looked the same at all, especially when he went on that big slump where he wasn't doing anything. So, a Cal rejuvenation would be very nice for this team.
Yeah, and look, the stars are depleted on this team. Josh Naylor and Randy Rosarena, likely one of them isn't going to play in the next game. And which sucks because today's my birthday and I want my stars to be in there for like the birthday special, right? It but they need to, it's not just the stars. You can't win with just Julio Rodriguez. You have to win. You have to win with your lower in the batting lineup guys, and whether that's Cole Young, Cole Emerson. Cole Emerson's been amazing. That's one of the main reasons the offense has been really good for the Mariners so far is because in the 9 hole, your 9 hole is not a black hole. It's actually one of the best spots in the lineup. That's what the Mariners need to keep on doing. And if they can walk, if they can get hits, they'll get the runs. And if they can get the runs, they'll get the wins. That's how baseball works. And so if no spot in the lineup should be a black hole, and Cal should definitely help with that. So I'm excited to see this series. I think that we're going to see a little bit of a different look from the Mariners. I want to see how Cal does in the first series. Maybe he'll take a little bit to warm up, but definitely after seeing what he's done at Tacoma, it gives me a lot of confidence going forward with Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, another thing is hopefully we get some more like walks. I think that's something that's very been limiting with the Mariners. So you mentioned this earlier. We had 0 walks in the last game against the Nationals. That's absolutely unacceptable. I know
No,
we
that
weren't
was
gonna win
Emerson
that.
Hancock. Emerson Hancock gave up 0 walks.
We had no walks that series,
Oh,
that game.
really?
Yeah, we had no walks as well. So, and we didn't get that many hits either. So we didn't really do anything in that game. So that's
Oof.
absolutely unacceptable. That's pretty funny how that ended up happening like that. But, it's not good and that's not a way we can win. So that's kind of something I'm looking for. Need to get on base more, and that will lead to more action. Someone's on base, you have the chance for more action to happen, even with like ground balls and stuff, because Bradley, right, who we're against, or yeah, Brandon Young, sorry. He's a very ground ball heavy guy. He doesn't get too many strikeouts. So we just need guys on base to get more action. That's what I think.
Yeah, and somebody go tell the Mariners to hand the Orioles a broom for my birthday because I want the Mariners to sweep the Orioles here. So let's Let's get it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful faces on YouTube. Check out our Instagram. And as always, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.